Welcome back. I've entitled this week's lesson, God's Thoughts Are Not Our Thoughts. As I was reading this week, I came across the story of Joseph, a story that I'd been told as a child many, many times. The story of Joseph and the coat of many colors that his father had made him. The story of how Joseph had been betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery. The story of how Joseph ended up in Egypt with the captain of the guard, and his wife once again betrayed Joseph. And when Joseph went against her, when Joseph denied her, he was thrown into prison. And then once again, Joseph found favor with the prison captain, and he was put in favor there. And then once again, Joseph found himself in front of Pharaoh. He was interpreting Pharaoh's dreams. And as he interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, he began once again to be in favor with Pharaoh. And Pharaoh made him the second in charge of all the lands of Egypt, only second to Pharaoh. Gave him complete control of all of Pharaoh's business arrangements, all of his food stores. You see, because Pharaoh had been given a dream by God that there was going to be 7 years of abundance to be followed by 7 years of famine. And Joseph interpreted this dream for Pharaoh, and therefore Pharaoh put Joseph in charge of all of his stores so that he could prepare for the upcoming famine. Well, as the famine came about, Joseph's brothers came to him for food because the famine was throughout the land, and Egypt was the only place that had food. So they came to him for food, and he gave them food. But I want to take and share one verse with you. One verse with you out of the 44th chapter, 45th chapter of Genesis. Verse 5, it says, "But now do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here, for God sent me before you to preserve life." You see, Joseph was not angry with his brothers. Joseph had forgiven his brothers because Joseph realized that God sent him ahead to prepare the land for the famine. You see, the Bible tells us in Isaiah chapter 55, verses 8 and 9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." You see, God knows what tomorrow may bring. The Bible tells us that we are not to worry ourselves about what tomorrow will bring because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. Besides that, we know that today has enough troubles that we don't need to be worried about tomorrow. But God knows the future, and God has prepared it for us. So we are to put our trust in God. We need to remember that His thoughts are greater than our thoughts, that His ways are greater than our ways, and we need to put our trust in dearest Jesus. When you make plans, always add the subscript to it, if God's will, because only God knows what tomorrow may bring. May you live in His mercy, may you live in His grace, and God bless you until next week.